Hello, good morning. Today we're going to look at Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, and we're going to try to figure out if the current consolidation is going to go deeper and longer. To do so, we're going to look at our fingraphs.com platform, and first to a mosaic where we have certain instruments on a daily basis, so the perspective over the next few months on the upper line, and on an hourly basis here, or the perspective over the next few weeks on the bottom line. So we have Bitcoin, Ethereum, the ratio of Ethereum versus Bitcoin, and the Euro-US dollar. And as we could see, all four assets are pretty much following the same path. Similarly, they have all been consolidating over the last few weeks, and could be reaching some oversold positions. So we'll look at them one after the other. So first, let's start with Bitcoin. So this is the investor's view of Bitcoin. The investor's view is a combination of three graphs. One weekly graph for the perspective over the next few quarters, one daily graph for the perspective over the next few months, and one hourly graph for the perspective over the next few weeks. What we could say is that Bitcoin has been consolidating since late 2017, saw a deep dip back in late 2018, and has since been making higher lows. It's not quite higher highs yet, but we believe this whole pattern here since late 2017 is a consolidation range. And we believe that strong resistance probably lies towards the tops in 2017, but also here towards 13,000 on the tops made in 2019. We have approached them recently. We haven't been able to break above them yet, but we believe this pattern will break out at some point over the next few quarters. For now, the trend is heading back up again. It's a corrective trend for now, with a resistance somewhere in the high 12,000s. And the risk index has come down very nicely, close to the oversold situation, which would confirm what we believe is, at some point, a resume uptrend situation. Now, if we look at the daily, we've had an attempt to the upside towards 12,000 up into late July, early August. We have since been rejected in a consolidation. Our corrective range tells us that it could make it down over the next month or so towards 9,500, maybe towards the highest 7,000s, which does seem aggressive in our view. Our risk index was extended and our envelopes would touch each other. So we believe this is what we usually see as a classical consolidation, which may last 2-3 months from the highs and enters this corrective target range, in our view, towards the lower 9,000s. Now, if we look here in the hourly, that consolidation doesn't seem quite over yet, but it's getting oversold. We're not quite far away from the September lows here. And the target range is somewhere between 10,000 and 9,500. So our view is that we probably find support here over the next few days, maybe week, and then rebound probably for 2 or 3 weeks into October. But the consolidation range is probably not quite over yet, so we might get another retest coming late October, November. From mid-late November, we then expect a new resume uptrend situation that may challenge the resistance here and that may move up into the spring and above 13,000. That was Bitcoin. Now we're going to have a look at Ethereum, a bit more quicker because it's a similar pattern. And if we look at Ethereum, we can see that we're also in a bull trend. We were very oversold here on the weekly. We're correcting up. We're still in a corrective move. Ideally, if we had to really move into impulsive territory, we'd have to move above 700. There's still some ways to go. But the daily is in an uptrend, could continue higher, is currently consolidating to the downside. This may last also into November, and then we expect also a resume uptrend situation into the spring. Now, if we look at the hourly, it's been selling off, but it's getting oversold. We have targets between the low 300s, the high 200s here, so that may offer support. And also here we expect maybe a 2-3 weeks bounce, another retest into November, probably with not lower lows, and then this corrective move to the upside should resume probably into next spring. Now we move on to the ratio of Ethereum versus Bitcoin. Well, Ethereum has proven to be more volatile and more high beta than Bitcoin, but the ratio pretty much follows the same pattern as both cryptocurrencies. So it is also was also very oversold, is correcting up. It still has a long way to go to reach the highs of 2017, 2018, but it is in this dynamic where it is recuperating. And so given our view on Bitcoin and Ethereum until next spring, we would be quite positive on the ratio, believing that over the next few quarters, Ethereum could outperform Bitcoin. Here also, we've entered an intermediate consolidation, usually lasts 2-3 months, so probably into November. And we believe the first leg down here is probably coming towards an end over the next few days, maybe the next week, as it is already oversold. So also here, Ethereum could bounce versus Bitcoin into early mid-October, then retrace down into November, and then the recovery that we've seen here probably continues into the spring. Finally, we want to relate these projections with what we see on the euro. And on the euro here, we've had also 2 years, almost in the same timing as cryptos since late 2017, 2 years of downtrend into March this year, and then a strong reaction. And we believe that this strong reaction, although it wasn't quite oversold, may trigger further upside into next year. The risk index is pretty much in the middle of the range, and targets are leading us over the next 2 quarters, probably up to 127. Now, we did see an intermediate top here about a month ago. We're consolidating. We believe that consolidation also probably extends into November, but it's getting very oversold here on the hourly graph. So we would then expect a rebound, again, possibly into early mid-October, perhaps retesting the highs. The machine is still giving us targets on the daily towards 121, and then a new period of weakness probably into November. And then from mid-late November, perhaps December, a new resume uptrend situation, potentially up to the 127 mark into the spring. So we're still quite bullish on the cryptocurrencies, which we also relate to the euro. And in general, believe that we're currently in a consolidation range, which may continue into mid-late November. And then thereafter, we expect a resume uptrend situation, probably into the spring.